Hi everyone, this is Kiran Kumar, and in this session, we are going to learn about what is platform and what is platform dependent program and what is platform independent program and what is platform dependent, what is platform dependency and platform independency. So these things we are going to discuss about in this session, and we are going to understand each and every term clearly. So now here, initially, we'll try to understand about what is platform. So platform, it is a term, it is applied in different situations. If you think about in this real world, there are different types of platforms like railway platform, weighing platform. All right. Similarly, we are talking about here computer platform. So this platform is about computer and the computer environment. So what is a platform means? So platform means we can say two things, two main things or two primary things. Platform means operating system plus processor. So these two together forms the platform. So this is a computer platform. So the operating system, what is operating system and what is processor? We know, right? What operating system is? Operating system is a system software and that is responsible for supervising all the operations inside the computer. So operating system, what it does? So the operating system is a system software and is uh, s- and is and it supervises all the operations or activities in a computer. So that is what the operating system does. And there are different types of operating systems like Windows, Linux, Macintosh. These are the different types of operating systems. So any operating system can supervise all the operations inside computer. All operations in the sense what? Anything like file reading, file writing, or if you want to move your mouse on the screen, for that also operating system helps. And if you want to open any file, if you want to read any data, if you want to copy data from one file to another file, so, and the memory management, storage management, device management, lot of operations that operating system will be supervising. All right. And what processor does? Processor is a silicon chip on the CPU. Is the CPU is bounded on a silicon chip, which is nothing but a processor. Okay, what processor does? It is responsible. It is responsible for running programs. It is responsible for running programs. Programs, or we can also call it as a jobs. So the processor is responsible for running the jobs or programs. And not only that, suppose there is a job. For example, here is a job uh, like job one. Okay. Now this job one should be run by the processor. And for that purpose, it has to get the instructions from the operating system. And it will always get the instructions from this operating system to process any job. And then it will produces output. So job in the sense, I'm just trying to tell you, like, you can assume like this as a program. Okay, this as a program, and that is executed by the processor, and then it will produce the output. So for this, right, the processor will be getting instructions from the operating system how it should run this particular job. Not only job one, there will be so many types of jobs. Job two, you can say job three. Job in the sense you can think like task, task two, task three, task four, task five, like that. Okay. So these tasks are going to be executed by this processor, and for that, it needs to get the instructions from the operating system. That means we can say that by this, processor is under the clutches of operating system. That means whatever the operating system says, the processor has to do. Okay, whatever the operating system says, the processor has to do that work. What actually processor does? Processor will process the jobs or tasks, means run the programs. That is what the processor does. So this is how in the computer, these are the two important things, which are one is operating system and a processor. This together is called as a platform. So platform means two things. One is operating system and processor. So this is about the platform. All right. So here we have to remember this important point, that is processor is under the clutches of operating system. That means whatever the operating system says to the processor, then it does. That means whatever the operating system says to execute any job, it has to get the instructions from the operating system. All right. Now let us try to move to next discussion, that is platform dependent program. Platform independent program means what? We'll try to understand. So here we are going to understand about platform dependent program. Dependent program. What is the platform dependent program? So platform dependent program means a program is depending on the operating system and a processor for the execution. Then that is called as a platform dependent program. If a program depends upon the operating system and the processor for the execution, then that program is called as platform dependent program. That program is called as platform dependent program. Okay, if that program is platform dependent program, that programming language also becomes platform dependent programming language. So what are the languages are known as platform dependent languages? For example, C, C++, uh, programming languages are platform dependent programming languages. Platform dependent programming languages. Why? Why? Because their programs are depends on operating system and processor for the execution. So that's why they are called as platform dependent programming languages. All right. Another one I would like to discuss is platform independent program. What is platform independent program? Okay, what is a platform independent program? If a program does not, if a program does not depend upon the operating system and processor for the execution, then that program is called as platform. That program is called as platform independent program. Okay. You can think like this. So when you are studying, right, your education, your parents will be helping you, right? That means you are directly depending on your parents for completing your education, right? Suppose if you are doing a job, suppose you are doing a job and you are earning your own money and you only helping yourself, means you are not depending on parents, then we can say that like you are an independent guy. Why? Because you are earning money for your studies, for your education, and you are paying your hard earned money. You are not depending on your parents, then we can say that okay, this guy is a independent guy. So similarly here, this program does not depend on operating system and a processor for the execution. Then that program is called as platform independent program. Okay. Any example? Yes. Java, C Sharp, or platform independent programming languages. So the first one, the Java is said to be platform independent programming language. There are different other programming languages also, which are also platform independent. So here I'm taking only these two, Java and C Sharp.net are the platform independent programming languages. Why? Because their programs will not depend on the operating system and the processor for the execution. Okay, then how they execute? Yes, they are executed without depending upon operating system and processor. Okay, all right. So that's why they are called as a platform independent languages. Okay, so if you want to understand exactly how they became platform independent, that thing we are going to discuss in another section here. Okay, now let us try to understand how C and C++ languages became platform dependent programming languages, and then we will try to understand how this Java became platform independent programming language. We'll try to understand. Okay, so now we will try to understand about how C and C++ languages became platform dependent. All right. So now here we are going to understand about how C, C++ languages became dependent or platform dependent. How C, C++ languages became platform dependent. Okay. Okay. So let us once again understand, okay, what is platform independent means. Suppose you have written a program, okay, suppose you have written, let us say you have written a C program, hello.c program. And when you write a C program, okay, you will be having some English words only like int a, comma b, okay, sum equal to a plus b. Like this, you are writing a C program. This is called source code. This is called source code. Okay, now this source code is compiled. Actually, this source code would be compiled by the compiler. And this is given to the compiler. So the compiler, will be converting this code into, the compiler will be converting this code into a machine code. A machine code here. So what is a machine code here? Machine code in the sense, this can be like 1001, 1100, 101110. So this is called machine code or binary code. And this file is said to be hello.exe file. Hello.exe file. So this hello.exe file contains which code? Machine code. This is what is called as source code. So this is called as what? Source code. Source code. And this is called as what? Binary code or machine code. Machine code. All right. All right. So now this exe file, which is having a machine code, should be executed by the processor. Okay, should be executed by the processor. So now this file is given to the processor. Okay, so here is my processor. Okay, here is my processor. So which processor it is? So it can be Pentium processor or any processor. Okay, so it is a processor. Now this processor has to run this exe file, which is having machine code. But for that, it has to get the instructions from the operating system. Let us say this is having Windows operating system. Windows operating system. So now this Windows operating system has to give instructions to this processor to run that file. Which file? This hello.exe file. It has to run. So for that, it will get the instructions from this Windows machine. Okay. So what are the instructions it may get? The processor will get. Okay, I am writing here what it will get. So what it will get is, for example, if you find 1001, consider it as a if statement. If you find 100, 111, 000, then you consider it as a for loop. So like that, it will be giving the instructions. Okay, so it will be giving instructions. So which is giving instructions? So this operating system, Windows operating system, will be giving instructions. So Windows operating system giving instructions that to the processor, if you find 1001, can execute it as a if statement. 11000 if you find, execute it as a for loop. So like that, this Windows operating system is giving instructions to this processor to run this exe file, hello.exe file. Now this processor will, according to the instructions which it is getting from this Windows operating system, it is going to run this hello.exe file. It is going to run this hello.exe file, and then it will produce what? Output. And then it will produces output. Output means result. It will produce. All right. All right, fine. Now, how this C language will become platform independent? The C language will become platform independent if you take this hello.exe file on any other machine, and if you are able to execute on any other machine successfully, then this language, C language program, could be platform independent. Okay, but it was not like that. Why? Okay, now let us do one thing. I'll be taking this hello.exe file to another machine. Let us assume I'm taking it to another machine. Okay, so in another machine, there is another processor is there. Okay, another processor is there. So which is here is another processor. So here is another processor, and here another operating system also there. So what is the operating system? Let us say this is a Linux operating system. Linux operating system is there. Okay. Now this Linux operating system has to inform this processor to run has to give the instructions to this processor on this machine to execute this hello.exe file. Okay, hello.exe file. So now this Linux operating system will give the instructions like this. How it will give the instructions here, you can see. So it says that, okay, 11001 means you consider it as a switch statement, or let us say you consider it as a while loop. And 11000 means you consider it as a if statement. Okay. Now this this processor will take this hello.exe file here, and then it will try to run it. It will try to run it based on the instructions which it gets from this Linux operating system. But it cannot run the file. Why? Why? Because here, if you see, in the Windows machine, the instructions, the operating system instructions on the Windows machine and on the Linux machine, from the operating system to the processor are not same. They are different. So if you see here, this 1001 means here, if here the same 1001 means it is telling to the processor consider it as a while loop. And here 11000 means it is saying to consider it as a for loop, but it is saying to consider it as a if statement. So that means the operating system instructions from one machine to another machine are different to the processors to run the file. So that's why this hello.exe file, could not run on another machine. Wherever it is compiled and got this exe code, there only it will run. It will not run on another machine. So why? Why? Because we can conclude that here by seeing it, we can conclude that the operating system instructions, are different to the processor on different machines. So the operating system instructions are not same to the processor on every machine. They are different from one machine to another machine. That's the reason this compiled code, the C compiled code, we cannot run on another machine. Okay, then how suppose if you want to run this program, hello.c program on this machine also, on Linux machine also, then how it will run? For that purpose, what you need to do, you should get this hello.c code again here. From here to here, you have to get the C code, you have to get here again, like int a comma b and sum equal to a plus b. You should get the same code here. That means the source code you have to get, and then you have to compile here again. You have to compile it again. So it will be given to the compiler. Now this compiler will be producing another exe file. It will produce another exe file, that is hello.exe file. So this is a hello.exe file. Now this will be executed. This will be given to this Linux machine. Then it will be executed. How it is executed now? Why? Because this compiler will produces the exe code which is compatible to this Linux OS. And here the compiler will produce the exe code compatible to Windows operating system. And here the compiler will produce the machine code compatible to Linux operating system. So that means we'll be using a different types of compilers, OS dependent compilers. We have to use OS dependent compilers. So that's why C language became platform dependent programming language. Okay. Now let us try to understand how Java language became platform independent. Now let us try to understand how Java language became platform independent. How Java became platform independent programming language. How Java became platform independent programming language. So that means a Java program that is created on one machine can run on any other machine. That is the meaning of it. Okay. So Java became platform independent because Java has its own platform. So Java became platform independent programming language because it has its own operating system and its own processor. its own processor. So that means Java does not depend upon the computer operating system and a computer processor. It has its own operating system and its own processor. Okay. For example, on computer, you will be having computer means computer platform. Okay. Computer platform. You are having your own operating system like Windows operating system you have. And you also have the Intel processor. Okay. You also have the processor, your own processor you will be having. Okay. Same way, Java platform, Java also having its own platform. So it has its own operating system that is nothing but JRE, and it has its own processor, nothing but JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So what is JRE here? JRE means Java Runtime Environment. Java Runtime Environment. And which is it is similar to operating system. And what is JVM? JVM is a Java processor. JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine. And it is similar to processor. So this is how Java having its own operating system and its own processor for running the Java programs. It does not depend upon the operating system and the processor of the computer for executing the application. All right. Now let us see in a pictorial way, in a diagrammatical way, how Java became platform independent programming language. All right. So now let us see how Java became platform independent. Here. So now let us see that how Java became platform independent. So you have written a Java program. Let us assume that. So you are writing a Java program here, okay? And this is called as hello.java. And this will be contains the code like this, okay? Which is similar like int a, b, and sum equal to a plus b. So this is a Java code. And this code is also called as a source code. This code is also called as what? Source code. Source code. So it contains the source code. Okay, fine. Now this is given to the compiler. This is given to the compiler. So now this is given to the Java compiler. Java compiler. So what this Java compiler does? So this Java compiler will be converting this code into a machine code. No, it will not convert into the machine code, but a different code. What is that code? And this cannot be called as a hello.exe file, but this is called as hello.class file. And it contains not the byte code, not the binary code like 1100, 11000. No, it doesn't contain that kind of code. It contains something called byte code. Okay, the hello.class file contains byte code. So byte code is not a executable code. Then if you try to run it on the computer, suppose there is a Windows operating system, we can assume. Suppose here is a Windows operating system, Windows machine. And here is a processor. Let us assume this is a computer processor. But this computer processor cannot understand this byte code. Why? Because it is not a exe code or it is not a machine code. That's why it cannot be given to this processor. It is not given to this processor, but it is given to a Java processor that is called JVM. That is called JVM. Now, this JVM will get the instructions from its operating system, that is nothing but JRE. Now, JRE will give the instructions to the JVM that how to process this byte code. Okay. Then this JVM will run it and produces the output. So here the Java doesn't depend on Windows operating system and doesn't depend on the computer processor also for running the code, but it depends upon the JVM and the JRE to run this program, this hello class file. So this is how uh, the Java program is not depending upon operating system and the processor for running the Java program. Now let us try to think it like we want to take this hello.class file on another machine and I want to run there also. For example, there is a Linux machine was there. Suppose there is a Linux machine and it has a Linux operating system and there is a processor. Let us say there is a processor also there. Okay. Now here hello.class file you are taking onto Linux machine, but this processor doesn't understand this bytecode again. So then how? Again here we need JVM. Again here we need what? JVM is required here. So JVM, we need a JVM and we also need a JRE here. Now this JRE will give the instructions to the JVM to run this hello.class file. Now JVM will run it and produces the output. Okay. So here also uh, the for running this hello.class file, it is not going to depend on the Linux operating system and the computer processor, but it is going to depend on the JRE and JVM to run it. So like this, wherever you take this hello.class file, that can be executed on that machine if there is a JRE and a JVM present. So this is how Java became platform independent language. How Java became platform independent language? Because of the two things. So Java became platform independent because of two things. What are they? The first one is because of the bytecode, which is nothing but .class file. And secondly, because of JRE and JVM. So because of these two things, Java became platform independent language. How? Because Java compiler doesn't produce the machine code, but it produces a different type of code, that is byte code. And that byte code doesn't understood to the computer processor, but it is understood to the JVM, a Java processor, and that gets the instructions to run that file from the Java operating system, nothing but a JRE, Java Runtime Environment. So by this way, this Java.class file can be taken onto any machine and it can be executed there with the help of JRE and JVM without directly depending upon that machine operating system and processor. So this is how Java programs can run on anywhere. And Java also has a motto. Java also has a motto. What is the motto of Java? Vora. Vora means what? Vora means, this is a Java motto. Java motto is Vora. Vora means what? Vora means write once, run anywhere. So this is a Java motto. And how it became possible? Because of the bytecode and the JVM. Because of the bytecode and the JVM, Java became platform independent programming languages. All right. So in the session, we have understood about what is the platform and what is a computer platform, what is a computer platform means, and then we understood about what is a platform dependency and what is a platform independency, and how C and C++ became platform dependent, and how Java became platform independent programming languages. I think this session is very helpful to understand these concepts, these complex concepts in a clearer way. And we will discuss another important topic in the next session. Thank you.